Okay, so I'm recording it now. So, guys, thank you, Santil, for the sweet introduction and for Dublin Drama Club, telling about Dublin Drama Club as well. And now I would like to start with the introduction of our guests, Raj. So, Raj, can you please introduce yourself first?
Yeah, hello everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Raj Singh. I'm basically from Mumbai, and like most of us, I came to Dublin a year back. So I started with my course masters in data analytics from DCU. So initially, I was like much interested in data analytics, and because I have worked on it a bit before. So when I came here, I saw a trend that like a lot of job opening that we saw here on LinkedIn was mostly from like QA analyst, automation testing, and all. And as I had previous experience in this as well, so I tried applying in both the job courses, the one which I'm pursuing in DCU, the data analytics jobs, and as well as the QA automation jobs. So the trend that I saw was that in data analytics job on single application, there was like 700 or 800 applications, and it went like really tough to get like even your CV selected. And when I applied to QA automation job, I saw that there was a lot of responses coming my way. So that was the thing, and I completed my master's with a 1:1 degree, like first class with honors. And after that, like before that itself, I started with an internship in testing itself, and I applied to a lot of jobs. And currently, I have two job offers at the moment, one from Global Shares and one from Broadridge. And so that's why I thought, instead of like continuing with data analytics itself, it's first of all better to secure a job, so like for our future. So I will be starting with Broadridge from 17th, and that's it from my end. Yeah.
Thank you, Raj. Thanks very much. Sounds like you have two offers in your hand and you have chosen the second job. So, that's congratulations for you.
Yeah.
And now we'll go to Siley. And Siley, could you please introduce yourself to the stream?
Yeah, just a moment. Let me share my screen first. Can you just access it?
Just a second, Siley.
Yeah, sure.
Can you see the screen? Are you able to see the screen now?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Just
Yeah, you can share the screen.
yeah. Uh, so hi everyone. Good afternoon. First of all, thank you for having me. A big thank you to Satya, and greetings for Diwali for everyone. And to start with, I'm Saili Dikshit. I have completed my bachelor's from Savitribai Phule Pune University in computer engineering. Then I have worked as a QA engineer in cyber software, and I came in 2019 for pursuing my master's in data analytics from Dublin City University. And currently, I'm working as a quality engineer at 34 Medical from elsewhere. So that was a short introduction from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Siley. So, thank you for sharing your valuable information and your introductions with the team. So, guys, today's workshop will be divided into two parts. The first part will be little bit about their journey. How did they start and how did they do everything? And in the second part, we would allow you to ask your doubts, your questions, whatever you have, so that you get something from this workshop. So, ladies first, I'll start with Siley. Sally, just tell me one thing. When you came here, what made you to come to the Ireland? Why Ireland only?
Initially, my plan was to come here right after my bachelor's. But when I researched a lot about the masters, I came to know that in Ireland, experience matters more. So I decided to go forward with the job which I had, which was in Sybase as a quality engineer. And quality engineering or the domain was something I really wanted to do since like I was in uh, doing my bachelor's. But reason why I chose data analytics is that's something I thought it's new and it can motivates me more. And so for that I opt for the data analytics basically. And after completing my 2 years in Sybase, I decided to go for masters, and then I came here.
That sounds like a great decision for you as of now. And I hope you have enjoyed studying at DCU. definitely.
Yes, absolutely. Initially, we had a very wonderful semester one in the Dublin City University, and during the second semester, the pandemic happened, and everything was online. So it was really hard to, cope up with the new things, new exams, and all the processes which were new for university and for students as well. So anyhow, we managed to do that, and yeah, the second semester and third semester both were online. So we have submitted all the exams online, and even we got the results now. So yeah,
Okay.
it was a quite good journey to remember.
That's so sweet. And next, thank you for that. I go to Raj now. So Raj, can you share your journey so far?
Yeah, so actually, I started with Accenture in 2016 as a test automation engineer over there. And I completed like 3 years over there. And once you're working in an IT industry in India for 3 years, you get a kind of feeling that no, you want something else in your life apart from just doing the same thing again and again. So that's why I did a bit of research, and my work was also related a bit to like ETL testing as well. So I was much interested in like data analytics. So I heard about a lot of countries. So I came to know about Australia. I came to know about USA or Ireland also. So I chose Ireland because it was a 1 year course. Obviously, most of us have thought about that as well. So as it was a 1 year course, I just came here. And I heard that there's a lot of data analytics job opportunities over here. So I came and pursued my master's in data analytics, and yeah, and we just now finished in like past month. So that was there. But if you say I think according to me, it was a bit overhyped. If we see there's a lot more job opportunities in India in data analytics if you compare in Ireland as of now, and the competition is really very stiff over here. So that's why instead of like it broke me a bit because the thing is that if you don't land up on a job for next 3 or 4 months, you get a bit like not feel good about it. So that's why it was very important to get a job in like first 3 or 4 months. So that was it for me. So yeah.
Okay. Guys, just one thing. I was thinking that Palash would join us, but unfortunately, he just told me that he has some emergency at his home on he won't be able to join us. Sorry for that. And I would really like him to join us in the next in future workshops. So I really apologize for that. And he has some emergency at home, so he had to go there. So for the next workshop, we'll keep it there. So yeah, so that's also a sound like a good journey from you, Raj, and thank you for sharing that with us. And I heard that Sally, you got your job when you were in semester two. So would you like to share that? That how did you manage to get job in semester two itself?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Satya. Yeah, I started applying from the month of December in 2019. When I started, I thought maybe I was late because, because all the graduate roles, they are generally open in September or nearby that month. So when I landed here, I was not sure if I was ready for, appearing for interview. And so I decided to not to apply in September, but I started regretting the decision that I was not applying anywhere. So I said, okay, December is also fine. So I started applying from December. And initially, my plan was to, apply for both the data analytics and for QA as well. If I get job in QA, that would be the best, because when I researched about the Ireland and the data analytics opportunities, that time the supply and demand ratio was like supply was less and demand was more, but now it has inversed. Supply is more and demand is less, so it has anyhow impacted the whole job scenario, and it is really hard to get job in data analytics for now, even though it's like a graduate role or any experience. So I was trying for both, and I got so many rejections initially. And first step was to get through with the CV process and to get selected for the interview. So in Feb, I got a call from 3D4 Medical from Elsevier, and they mentioned that they have a position for QA engineer, which matches my profile. So yes, for those 2 years, for those 2 months, I actually tried a lot and worked so hard to groom myself, to apply. I literally had a book separate for that particular application process and a dedicated time slot, to apply, sit and apply, and to, compulsory do that application whole process. So I tried that. I got an opportunity in Feb, and an interview was scheduled. Uh, it was first of all technical interview, and which was taken by the panel members. Three panel members were there, and afterwards, after 10 or 15 days, I got a mail from them that you are selected for the next round. So is it okay if you are interested, we can go forward. Then I absolutely, I was happy, and I was said, okay, let's go for it. So I just appeared for the HR interview, and that time they didn't give any decision, because that time the pandemic thing was very at peak in Ireland, and we were under lockdown. So basically, the opportunities or openings were very less at that time. Even the employer, they were not sure if they have the position, reserved, or they were not sure. So they kindly told me that, okay, no problem, we are currently facing some issues for due to this pandemic, so we will let you know in future. So after completing my second semester exams in May, I got a mail from them that, okay, so we have still this position open, if you're interested, we can go forward. So I gave them green flag, and it was like a quick thing for me. I got the call from HR on Thursday, and my joining was on Monday, like 2nd June or 1st June. So it was really a smooth process, I would say, for me. But meanwhile, I was trying hard for other positions as well. But it was really hectic to, manage the curriculum thing, and also the preparations. So, and positive response was not observed during that lockdown process. So I joined from June, and that's from where my journey started with 24 Medical.
Yeah, that's a good story as well. That's a good thing that you
Yeah,
got to
I
know that
have
during
explained
pandemic you got
it.
this job, and that's really like motivational for everyone. And definitely, if we say that pandemic has taken job, pandemic has given few of you and who have talent, they have definitely got the job. And would you like to say something, Raj? How did you manage to get job?
Yeah, so like initially in December. So first of all, I would like to say that you shouldn't lose hope, first of all, because when I got the job, I just went to my LinkedIn and checked how many jobs have I applied to just on LinkedIn, and it was more than 350. So, and I got two of them. So I can say that I got rejected from 348 companies and got like two of them. So this shouldn't be demotivating, because once you go and apply, once you are clicking on the apply button, you never know that this can be the company
Yeah,
which you
that's
will
true.
get in. So you shouldn't like hesitate to get rejected or apply more and more, because I've seen people who are just like, no, I'm getting rejected all the time, so I'm not applying this week or the next week, so I'm not applying for this particular time. This shouldn't happen ever. So like after I have started applying in January or February, because I knew that a lot of the rejections that I was getting was because of my visa status. And so like once so I like I think I kind of stopped applying at that moment, because all the rejection that I got was because of visa. So like eventually when I moved on, when I was about to complete my masters during you can say June or July, I got an internship offer. It was an unpaid internship, and so I was like a bit afraid. So should I go for the unpaid internship or not, because I was doing part time as well, and I had to manage my finances as well. So uh, so I got a deal with the internship person that I can work part time in the internship as well, because I can work 3 days for internship and 3 days as my part time work. So that was really helpful to me, because first of all, I thought that it's unpaid. So what I like it didn't motivated me that much. But when I actually started working there, it gave me a lot of experience. And the main thing was I didn't have a gap after my masters. So I started in July and I ended in this month, October. So like the past month, October, from my internship. So a lot of recruiters, when you give your CV to the recruiters, you have to pass the rule of 10-second rules. They call it the 10-second rules. So suppose a job application have like 100 of different application, they will just see your application just once. They will see your CV just once for 10 seconds. because they have to go through the entire CVs. So just they should get all the points that you know in the CV, in like in the first view. So if you know like TestNG, if you know TestNG framework, if you know Maven, if you know Java, if you know Selenium, so that all things should be visible in the first view. So, okay, they will see, okay, this is the CV. Oh, these has this things. Okay, I can keep this. And if it has a lot of text going around, he would like he wouldn't be interested in like looking at the CV at all. He will just see, oh my God, what's this? So he will just keep the CV aside. So that's very important. So to get your CV sorted. So once I was in the internship, earlier on I was getting rejected because my position was like studying masters at DCU. But later on, I changed it to intern at Kansas Tech, test automation intern at Kansas Tech. So at that time, I got a lot of job interviews at that moment when I started applying. So that was there. So your CV should be very crisp and to the point, like what all things do you know? What all experience do you have? So in your experience, what have you done? So in my CV, first of all, I added a profile. I didn't add all the things like where it has mentioned, I am a very helpful guy and I am this, I am that, and I am a team worker, because all the CV has same things all the time. They are not interested. They are just interested in whether you know the things or not. Like you can keep yourself at the place of recruiter and think what you want to see in the CV, and you can see your CV like that. So the thing that I added was completed masters, intern at this, having 3+ years of experience as a test automation engineer. These are all the tools that I know, and like I'm familiar with the STLC, software testing lifecycle. Those were there in my profile. And afterwards, your experience. The second thing was experience. So you have to kind of repeat all the things that was in your profile, but in terms of your work. So where did you apply your TestNG framework? Where did you apply Maven? Where did you apply Jenkins? Where did you do ETL testing? So you might be working on a like web application. Suppose I was working in the payments application. So the same thing, you are writing it down where your experience is, like I was using TestNG in payment system, and I was doing this. So this kind of work was done by me over there. So I also did report testing. I also created reports using test extent reports or something like that. So you can mention all those things as well. So so the for me, and after that you can just specifically mention your tools and technologies that you know, and it should be segregated. Like these are the tools, these are the applications that you know, these are the languages that you are working on. It should be segregated, and the important point should be made into bolds. If you know a particular thing, you know Cucumber or like BDD framework, you should make it in bold. So when the person sees it, he will see, okay, he knows BDD as well, behavior driven testing, or like Cucumber. So that was it. Talking about the interview process, like I said, like the internship helped me a lot over there. I developed a framework as well. You all can just try developing an entire framework, testing framework, looking into internet, and just keep it in an Eclipse, so that during an interview, as you are doing an online interview now, like in these days, you can just ask them when they are out of questions. You can just say, "Can I show you something that I have created?" Then they will just give a nod to you, obviously. And then you can just show them, okay, see, this is the framework that I have created. Here I have kept all the automation things, like how to handle a drop down, how to handle frames, how to operate a mouse. And I have just used a page object modeling as well. Like here is the code which takes the screenshot. Here is the code that sees whether the test case has failed or passed and what to do after that. So if you show all this thing to them, they will see that, no, we are not interested in, they are also interested in what they are doing. So that's very important. So you can just keep and create it like in your I think in your in your Eclipse, and just show it to them, because I got around 5 or 6 interviews, and I did the same with all of them. Once they were done with all the questions, I used to say them, can I show I want to show you this thing. I've created a framework, I have done this and this. So and during an interview, what happens is you can drive what questions they want to ask. If you talk about a particular framework, then they will start asking you regarding the framework. So once when I showed them the framework, I showed them that like he asked me, suppose there are 1,000 test cases, and you want to run all the test cases, because running all the test cases sequentially will take a lot of time. First test case, second test case, third test case. Then I came to know about a concept called threading. So what we can do is that we can run multiple test cases at the same time, and then we can execute them at the same time without getting messed up results. What happened was, suppose 1000 test cases were running at the same times, the driver used to get messed up, and like the result used to get messed up. So you should know, if I am talking about framework, they can ask me question about threading, multi-threading, and all those stuff. How you're taking a screenshot, where are you handling all the test cases, where are you keeping all the test cases and stuff. So these were so like this was it. And if you talk about the interview process, then if you go to the interview, first of all, for most of them, I got an interview call from Ryanair as well. So for them, it is like they will send you an interview question, and they will give you a, and they will ask you to complete the entire testing of their website, from like booking a ticket to like the entire payment flow, and you have to submit them within a week. So that was it. So I didn't go through with that, because it's an airline industry, and it's not good to be a part of airline industry at this moment, as it can collapse anytime. So talking about other interviews, firstly I will talk about Broadridge first. So there will be a HR interview. First of all, the HR will ask you regarding your previous experience, and it will be a general question like, how have you helped your teammates, what have you done to improve the things that you have already working on. So there will be a different kind of question, and it will be a set of confusing questions. Like, the first question will be related to the fifth question, and if you answer both of them differently, you can be in a trouble. So like, they will ask you, what else have you done to help your teamwork, and they will go through their core values. Suppose you get an interview from the company, just go to their website, learn about the company, and see what are the core values. So the questions that HR will ask will be around their core values. Suppose integrity is there, support, or like teamwork. So all the questions will be around that. It will be a 30 minutes interview on a phone call, that's it. Then if HR likes you, he or she will forward your CV forward, and you will have a like a video interview first of all. Yeah, okay. So while you're having a video interview over there, they will go through your CV first of all, whether all the things that you mentioned in your CV is right, or you have just written it down. Because what like a trend I have seen is, suppose a person doesn't have experience in testing, he will just add testing to his CV, saying that I know testing, because people think that testing is really easy, automation testing is really easy, but like, that's not the case. I came across a lot of CVs that just say automation testing apart from data analytics. So that's there. So you have to know like what you have added in your CV, and you should know like where have you implemented all of those stuff. So that should be there. And once they are fine with that, they know, okay, you actually know what all things that you have added in your CV. They will be happy with that. Then they will move forward with the interview question, like your second interview, and it will be an hour interview or 1.5 hour interview, depending upon them actually. So in that, they will go through like difficult questions, like questions related to framework. How can you prioritize your test case in automation? What smoke testing? How smoke testing test cases are defined? How do you handle drop downs? How can you handle if a pop-up comes up on the screen? And like, suppose you will know all the questions. And after that, you will get a last interview round over there. They will just let you know about the policies and all the stuff, and a few like tricky questions. Like, the one question that I got was, suppose you want to count the number of grasses in Croke Park, how will you count that? So that was a question. So there will be a lot of questions like that. So you have to you have to just brainstorm about it for a few moments, and then you can just answer it straightforward. So that's how like the interviews are for most of the companies at the moment I've seen here. Yeah, so that's it, Satya. Thank you.
That's a quite detailed and very nice thing from you, Raj. We really loved it, and I hope this is very insightful for our members, for our participants today. And so Sahil, can you please say that what all websites did you use to follow when you used to, what all the job sites that you used to follow here?
Yeah, I was coming to the same point. To add Raj's point, I would say if you're mentioning anything, you should be thorough with the basics and your workaround with this. If you're stating you have experience for 2 years, it doesn't count until you explain what you have actually performed there and how it has impacted for the growth of the company. So first of all, while you're interviewing, it is very important to explain or prove them, yes, I have some impact, my work has already impacted on my project or the company. And during my process, I mainly use LinkedIn and also the direct you can say company websites. But I would say for LinkedIn, I use reminders and notifications for new job openings, which really help me to, apply and get into all the process. And main thing I want to mention about the CV, as Raj mentioned, it should be precise and very, segregated, but also it should be like, it should match the job description. It should not be like you have one CV and you are just applying for each and every opening. No, it will not work at all. So what you need to do is make a base CV, and if you got any opportunity or the openings, just go through the job description and try to match how much percentage does your CV and the job description it matches. Because sometimes what happens is they have some kind of automatic system in which the CV is passed and their job description keyword is matched with your CV keyword, and based on the percentage your CV will be rejected or accepted. So it is very important to match your CV with the job description first, and to keep it precise. And also LinkedIn is really helpful in this case. And just I would say, if it mentions that minimum experience of 3 or 4 years, and you matches all the skill sets which are mentioned on the job description, people generally they hesitate to apply, saying that I just have 2 years, so how can I apply for 3 years? I would say just go for it, because you have the basic skill set which is required for that job. So hesitating, so this might be a chance and you have missed it. So I would say just don't miss any chance. If you find any job where your basic skills are also matching, just go for it and apply for it, because you never know, that might be your company.
Yeah, actually, Satya, I want to I would like to add one point. Once Saili told me that once I was in a conversation with her, she told me that when she is applying a job, she was she was I think keeping a note of what all jobs she is applying. She was taking note of the company, she was taking note of the job description. So once the interview comes in, she used to just open her Word or the book, whatever, and she used to search. Okay, this was the company, and this was all the requirement that I needed, and this was all the things that I mentioned in my CV. So she used to tailor her interview in that way. So
Yeah,
that's also a good
because
point. Yeah.
what happened is we apply lots of at lots of positions. So I almost applied for 100 or 120 job openings, and when they come back to you, you are very confused. Like, what
Okay,
are
data.
the skills? What should I actually prepare for the interview? So it is very confusing. So what I practiced was making a base CV, and I used to make separate folders for every company. And what suppose I'm applying for company A, then I would just copy paste the company A's updated job CV, and that's it, and the job description which I have. Because what happened is, once the position is closed, the job description is removed from the LinkedIn. So it is very hard to find what skill sets they are looking for. So in this case, you can also approach your HR and ask them, what should I prepare for the interview. This is also a good practice. But for us to be on a safe side, it is much important to maintain the separate company folders along with their job description and CV. That time you will get to know, yes, these are the skill set, and these are the skill set I have proposed from my side. Because sometimes you have done some mix and match, so it should not happen that they are referring to some another CV and you are referring to another CV. So that may raise a conflict between you and interviewer. So this is very important while all the process of applying, I would say.
Thank you very much, Raj and Sally. And that's it from me as well. So I would like to give chance to our participants to ask the question, because I don't want to take much time, because I know you must have lots of questions from them, as they are the professional ones, and how did they apply for job and other things. So we can start the question answer session from our participants. And guys, please raise your hands. I'll just allow you to speak. So whoever is having that. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, Karthik. Yeah.
Yeah, hi Satya. Thanks to everyone.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. You can ask your question.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, the thing is, I have 4 years of experience in software testing. So I worked from 2014 to 2018, and then in the year of 2019, in the month of January, I came to Ireland for doing my master's in data analytics. And then I have completed my master's in the month of February 2020. Then, due to a personal reason, I came to India in the month of March, and now I couldn't come back due to lockdown.
Okay.
So I'm still waiting for my re-entry visa. Meanwhile, I'm upskilling myself into some parts of data science and automation testing. Also, I'm applying for jobs. But the thing is, I'm still unsuccessful in grabbing a job. I almost applied for around 50 to 60 companies, but I'm just getting only rejections.
Okay.
So actually, I'm actually fully confused because I
So
came here in a very stressful situation.
okay.
So what's the best thing I can do now for getting a job as soon as possible? Because it's like almost 8 months I'm still in India, and almost I'm just waiting for a permission letter from INIS to get my visa, to get back my re-entry visa. Then only after that I'll be coming back there, and then I can apply for my 1G visa.
Okay.
After which I will be actively looking for a job. So what's the best thing I can do now? Like I have almost prepared my CV by checking with my seniors and other people.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I'm getting only rejections with my CV. So what's the next best thing I could do for getting a job as soon as possible?
Okay. So Raju, would you like to say something over there for this?
Yeah. So actually, when you're planning to come back, Karthik, once the pandemic is done, after that.
No. Actually, not like that. See, I came here as my mom demised in March. Suddenly, my mom demised, so that's why I came here. And I was to come back in the next 15 days, but before my arrival, lockdown started in India. And eventually, my stamp visa got expired on March 31st.
Okay.
And then the next 2 months, my dad was having severe health issues, and due to sugar, he was admitted in hospital, and 4 fingers of him were taken out. So I applied for my re-entry before 2 months, and now the embassy in Delhi requires a permission letter from Ireland.
Okay.
That is from our INIS, and I am still chasing INIS since past 2 months, but I have no luck.
Okay, so I think Karthik, you should get your visa sorted first, because if you apply for jobs over here, so the first thing they will ask is, do you have a valid visa? So they will ask you for your for a passport copy and stuff. So if you don't have that, it will be a straightforward reject. I'm really sorry to say that. So that's the thing. The thing in the beginning. You can keep on applying. So if you're positive about the fact that you will like get your visa for sure, so you can keep on applying from India as well, because all the interviews. Karthik, can you mute your voice, because it's like too much. Sorry about that. So like if you apply from like if you're sure that you will like surely get a 1G visa when when you come back to, and you can come back to Ireland, you can keep on applying from India as well, because the process takes around a month or so for most of the companies. So if you're sure about you are getting a visa, you can keep on applying and give the interviews from India itself, just saying that you are in Ireland. And if you reach to the last round, that time you will be needing the visa. So make sure that you have your visa sorted. So that's the thing.
Sure.
Just to add, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry
you
to
can add
interrupt.
something. Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
say if you are getting rejection, that's all okay. But if you are getting rejection, then something is wrong, or you need to groom the CV. Just try to take it, check from other whoever colleagues or anyone who can help you with the CV, and update your profile. Second thing I want to tell you, if you're getting a buffer period, don't just waste it for interview process. I would say start certifications and learnings online, and update that on your LinkedIn profile as well. This will carry
Of
a
course,
lot of weight for your profile, and for for
that's what I'm doing now. Actually, I'm upskilling myself now into both in data science and also as well in automation also.
okay. So I would say first you can try applying for both, but just keep focus on one, what you actually want to do. Because for me, when I was applying, I was also confused whether I should go for DA and QA. So it was very confusing while choosing the online courses or the certifications, and it consumed a lot of my time. So I would say just be clear with in your mind where you want to go, and considering the current situation. And if I'm not wrong, you're on the STEM field.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, so
Exactly.
as Raj said, it would be really important to get started with the stamps because
Mhm.
many companies they have the special skills for the uh,
Mm.
sorry, can you just mute?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm really sorry. So they have a separate field stating that they are only going to prefer stamp 1G or 1 or stamp 4 candidate.
Yeah.
So this is very important for here to get a job. So I would say just
And
follow.
also just don't mention that you are on stamp 1G or stamp 2 on your CV.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
just never mention that.
okay, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, guys. Karthik, I hope both of them answered your question. Now we have
Also,
Shubham.
sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you again, Karthik. You can also, we can also help you with your CV. If you want to us to get your CV, you can share with Satya. You may
Okay,
forward
sure.
to us. We will try to
I
get
will
it.
forward it for sure. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot. It
No
helps
problem.
me a lot.
Thank
I'll be on it. I'll be in it. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you,
all
Karthik.
the best. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah.
So
Thanks.
next we have Shubham Jagtap lined up, and yeah, Shubham, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question, and then we'll get
Yeah,
back to Harsh as
hi.
well because Harsh is also there.
Yeah,
So
hi. Thank you, Satya, for giving me a chance. So actually, I'm studying Masters in Data Science from Technological University, and I will finish in January. But I don't have much experience. I'm fresher right now. So how should I approach for interviews, and how should I make my CV as a fresher so I get landed in job?
uh,
Okay, so I will answer that. So what you can do is Shubham, right? So what you can do
Yes.
is, first of all, just you can go through like couple of Udemy courses. I came across few good Udemy courses that covers like zero to the extreme of testing, automation testing.
Okay.
They teach you in a way that that you are working in a company.
Okay.
And like something like that. So what you can do is you can go through that courses. You can just search on Udemy. There's a really nice course from Rahul Shetty, and you can join his
Okay.
Facebook group as well. So if you go through the entire course, I'm damn sure that you will be able to answer all the questions that they're asking in the interview. And
Yeah.
apart from that, the most important thing, you have to tailor your CV. So what I can do is, guys, so you all guys can connect me on LinkedIn. I can surely share you my my CV. I will remove all my personal details, and I will share, like I will just for like I think forward you my CV, so you can go through that and like make that CV like similar to yours, so you can do that thing.
Okay.
And
Sure.
also apart from that, you can just look for internship at the moment. So if there's any free internship, because it's easier to get free internship which is unpaid,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like I think rather than getting paid internship, so you can do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
Sahil,
much.
would
and
you like?
one
Yeah.
more thing to
Yeah.
add, you can also go for, if you want to really go for uh, a testing profile, you can go for IS2QB certification. It is really important and it counts well in the industry. So if you're focusing for testing, you can go for it. And I would say for freshers, you can also apply for in a job perspective. I'm saying that you can also try applying for graduate roles if you're interested in
Yes.
development
Yes.
also. So
Yeah.
just as you're fresher, you have lots of scope to go from any field. It depends upon your area of interest
Yeah.
totally. So
Yeah.
I would say just figure out that and try keep applying, just and
Yes.
keep grooming your CV.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Shubham, you can make different CVs as well, one for data analytics, one for
Uh-huh.
development, one for testing, so you never
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
even I sorry
yeah,
to
yeah, go ahead, Sally.
interrupt you. Even I made a CV a separate CV for graduate role because I have heard that we had a session in our Dublin City University regarding the job opportunities. There they mentioned some of the companies in Ireland they consider 2 years of experience is fine for graduate roles as well. So considering
Okay.
that, I also prepared CV for graduate role and I applied for them as well because if you know it is okay to for them to consider us as a graduate, then you can also go for it. So it
Yes.
might be useful for keeping separate CVs for a graduate role. Your if your experience, then experience one CV is different,
Uh,
and also your another if you're going for testing, then that CV different. So you should try to circle work around and try to find out the best CV for that job description and apply for it. I would say.
Yeah. Thank
All
you.
right. I hope that answers your question, Shubham. You have anything else? Because we have lots
No,
of
no.
question, hands raised. So I'm sorry
Thank you.
because we are running out of time and we have only very
No,
less time. So do you have
thank
anything
you.
else? And anyway, they'll connect with you on LinkedIn as well. You can just I have
Sure,
shared
sure.
the link for their profile on the pamphlet, so you can just go through that. And the next person we have in line is Harsh. So Harsh, yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yeah, hi. That was a great session for you guys. So basically, I have recently graduated from NCI in data analytics. So I am on STAM 1G now. I wanted to ask, like, I have almost 3.5 years experience as a business analyst. So I know I have been interacting with quite frequently the QA teams and all. So I have a higher level view, like how the QA works and what the job roles are. But I have in depth, I don't have a knowledge of QA. But so can I apply for QA roles? Like in that case, I would be fresher for QA roles. So like on the CV, what shall I mention if I'm applying for QA roles? So that was my question.
So I would like to answer it first. So I would say if you're having business analytics exposure, and if you want to switch to QA, then as Raj mentioned, you should go for certifications first, and you should start implementing yourself. Start with the basic TestNG and Selenium WebDriver, and automating the website. As you mentioned, for Rainer, he had the that interview. So you can try doing that and add those into your skill set, which will really help you to, guide through. Because while interviewing, they are much interested in what you have actually performed, and they will for sure ask you the question. You have experience of 3 years in business analytics,
Yeah.
and why do you want to switch to testing? There should be a strong reason for that, and your work should prove that yes, you are much interested in testing, and you will be a valuable asset to their company. So you can try that and get the things sorted.
Sure, that would be great. Thank you.
No problem. All the best.
I hope that answers your question, Harsh. And
Yeah.
yeah, one thing that I have seen here, based on experience, that they actually don't ask if you have the knowledge. If you have the knowledge, if you can showcase it that you can do things, it doesn't matter you are applying as a fresher or 3.4 years of experience or something else.
Yeah.
So they'll definitely consider you. That's what I have seen, and
Sure.
my friends have done so far. So
And
you
also you
have
can manipulate your CV as well, that you have done this
definitely,
instead of this in your previous
yeah.
experience. I know it's bad to lie in CV, but you can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
you
Just
can
prove
write
it
that you
that
have 3.5
you
years of
did.
experience. We are just giving you some tricks, which is like, which if you have the talent, if you can showcase that you have actually done it, you can just change this from data analytics to your business analyst to test engineer. That's
Testing.
absolutely fine.
Sure,
No one
that
is
would be
asking
great.
your previous work. They'll just need your a reference that will they will ask you the reference a referee that what exactly he has done. If you can definitely
Yeah.
manipulate it, that's fine.
You can
Yeah.
always ask your friends
And
to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. And one more
Yeah.
thing I would like to mention, they need the proof that you have worked in a team, and you have effectively, worked as a team member, and also you can lead the team. So while
Sure.
interviewing, please don't forget to mention these things. If I would say I use a trick, if they asked me for a particular skill set, that what are your strengths, or for any technical skill set, what I used to do is I used to link it with my experience, all the example.
Yeah.
During my interview, I prepared in a way that for each and every skill set, or each and every you can say strength or any characteristic, I had an example which was linked to my bachelor's and my experience.
Okay.
So which helped them to understand me more, and it was very helpful for, in short, marketing myself. So I
Yeah.
would say, when I was in my bachelor's, our TPO used to say that you are a product and you want to sell yourself. So basically, what
Definitely.
we will do is just explain all the characteristics you have and just impress them. And marketing should be very
Yeah.
proper.
Yeah.
So here the examples and experiences will work like 100%, I would say.
Yeah, Harsh. Actually,
Sure.
I would like to add an example to that. So what happened was they asked me, suppose there's a test case which is dependent upon other test case. So you don't have to answer like what I can do. You can just say like, in my previous experience, I came across a scenario that one of my test case was failing. One of my automation test case was failing. So I searched like why that test case was failing. So I came across a thing that the second test case was getting data from the first test case after capturing the ID. So I came across a tag called priority in TestNG. So what I can do is that I can attach a priority, or I can attach it depends upon the previous test case. So I was able to overcome that thing using this. So I did a bit of research about it, and I implemented it in my team as well. So you
Sure.
like I think you can answer that question this ways. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that should answer
and
your questions, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
for me also, I remember they asked me, there are many testers with the same experience. Why should we go for you, or what is different? So
Yeah.
in that case, I also used an example that I was working for in a team of 65 team members, and for us it was really a problem was there. The issue was we were not able to find its root cause, but I somehow managed. I gave an examples that there were some campaigns on our website and all the dependencies, and that actually that impacted them, that yes, I have not only found out the issue, but also I'm trying to find out the root cause, which will help to get it fixed. Because for testing mindset, it is not just you need to focus what is wrong, you also need to find out why it is wrong and
Correct.
how it can be fixed, which is really important for you to get a job.
Sure. Yeah.
Thanks. I hope that
So,
answers your question in
sure.
details, Harsh, and probably you would
Yeah,
be.
Yeah, we hope
definitely.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
sorry guys, we are
I'll
just
just
running out of
forward my
time.
CV. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
we're
just
just
forward
running
my
out of
CV.
time, so I'd like to keep it my guest Rajan Saili to keep just try
Yeah,
to be, because
Sure.
sure.
definitely.
Sure.
So next we have Neha in line for her question. So Neha, you can mute yourself. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. Thank you. So, hi, I have 7 years of experience into manual testing before I came here for masters. So, I'm doing my masters in software engineering. So, like, since I'm into manual, I'm seeing due to pandemic or maybe the all the jobs are into automation. So, should I plan to switch? And will just by studying myself, will I be able to fake for 7 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just I can answer if Raj is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So I also had experience in manual testing, pure manual testing, and just a basic knowledge of Selenium WebDriver. So I started learning automation, but my job for now is manual testing only. But I have like 50% for automation. We are migrating from manual to automation. And also one thing which helped me is to I used to test on different platforms for particular application. So you can try that as well, because they need people who can carry different devices or handle them and test on them. So you can try automating your starting from your mobile phone, and just try to automate an basic application from your computer. Might be that can help you in your interview process. That yes, you are the main thing is you should be ready to learn all the time. You should prove them yes, we are ready, and you can just explain them yes, I have done that, and I'm just starting to get coping up with the automation.
Should I remove some of the experience from my CV or not?
No.
No, there is no need to remove any experience. It will
So
help.
actually, Shruti, what you can do is I'm sending you a course on Udemy. You can go through that. I also did the same. Actually, I was experienced just for a year instead of I worked in Accenture for 3 years, but I showed that for the entire 3 year I worked as an automation tester, but I actually worked for just a year in there. Things I just knew that they already had all the thing developed, so I just used to handle the simple test cases. So not only you, everyone in the like in the call can go through this course, and it will just cover all the basics for you, and you can then surely add automation to your CV then. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good. You happy with your answer, Neha, isn't it?
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, sorry.
In UI automation tools as well, but it's just that they are inbuilt tools and you don't have to know that much of programming.
No, you need a lot of programming like when you're doing automation or developing a framework, because you can come across a lot of scenarios. Because the thing is that if you learn from a simple website or something, they will just show you you're clicking on a button, you're clicking on submit. But if you go in an actual company, they have like really complicated methods that are developed, methods that are like, suppose you want to go through an entire flow, you don't have to write all the steps. You just need to call one single method, pass all the variables that you need to give in that method, and that's it. In just one line they are doing like 20 steps. So you have to able to write methods which can handle 20 steps at the same time. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, sorry guys. Just I'm really so sorry. We are just overshooting the time, so I think we will keep others' question. I'm sorry to interrupt, Neha, because I know you will have lots of things to ask. Because yeah, so what I'll do exactly is I'll connect. You can connect with them on LinkedIn, as I said, and they'll definitely help you. And we will keep doing these things in future as well. So don't get upset with your question if you are unable to get it done now, because I want everyone to get their answers, and definitely this will be helpful for everyone. So Neha, you can actually connect with them on LinkedIn, and I'm really so sorry because I'm keep telling in between you while you are getting your answers.
No,
So
not a
sorry about this.
problem. Okay.
Yeah. So next we have Anup lined up for the question. So Anup, you can actually unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Thank you, Satya. I'm Anup from Bangalore. Have around 2.5 years of experience in QA automation, and I have an admit in data analytics in DCU. So my question is actually, what are the skill sets important for a QA automation engineer in terms of Ireland job market?
Actually, yeah, so the same as you need in India. There's no difference at all.
Okay.
Say so.
Okay.
Yeah. So are you doing automation or manual testing at the moment? Or like automation, right?
Yeah, automation.
Yeah. So you need all the same things that you're doing in your company. And yeah.
And I wanted to ask whether the DevOps thing also helps for a QA automation engineer.
Not here at the moment. No, I know.
Even I'm not sure about it.
So like it depends. What is the job description actually? So what you can do exactly at the moment is I would suggest just go to the LinkedIn or other job sites. Go to that the LinkedIn or Indeed and then see what are the skills the particular company requires. So it depends on their project as well. So the basic will remain the same. If you need Selenium for this, that will be there. If you need Nginx or other skills, that will be there. The only thing that changes is the requirement. So it depends on the companies as well. That's what I would add if I'm not wrong, Sally and Raj. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, man.
All right. Anything else, Anup? You want to add?
Nothing, Satya. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
Thanks,
that's
Raj.
I'm really so sorry
All the
because I'm
best,
giving you
Anup.
very less time to
Yeah.
ask your questions. But probably, as I
Yeah.
said, you can definitely connect with them and you can ask all the questions
Sure.
that you have. And we'll just create a particular section in our website, in IRL.com, where you will be getting answers from our experts. And then you can definitely ask there as well. So next we have Shruti lined up for the question. And Shruti, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you, Satya. Thanks a lot for this session. The first question I wanted to ask is, how long should be the CV? Should it be a one-page CV or a two-page CV? What is recommended?
If you're like in a graduate role, then one page. If you even have 2 years of experience, I'm sure it will move to 2 pages.
Yes.
Because I've seen that a lot of people say you need to confine it in one page, but the confined CV looks very messy and no one wants to see that because it's like very, like has too much of text like confined in a single page, according to me.
Yes.
Yeah, because I have 5+ years of experience, so it's very difficult to fit it in just one page. So I wanted to ask that.
I would say that is possible to fit it in one page.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
and,
I tried, but
yeah.
it was impossible. So.
Yeah. And one more thing I wanted to ask is, when exactly is it recommended to start applying for jobs? If I'm looking for full-time jobs, not the graduate roles.
Today.
Yeah, now I would say today.
Okay. The reason I'm asking this is because I'm currently pursuing my MSc in data analytics in DCU. I've just started with the course. So I'm just wondering, since I'll be graduating only next year, if I apply now, will actually companies consider my application?
So I would
like
let you
1% of them will.
Yes, and also to add, if you're on stamp 2, so basically when I started with my job, it was in June, and I was actually studying for that period. So for us, it was from June to September, if I'm not wrong, Raj. We can work 40 hours per week full time. So it was full time for me. And if you get a job or an opportunity, you can also work 20 hours per week. I think Palash did the same. Today we were expecting him to be here, but he worked for 20 hours per week and he joined in second semester only.
Yeah.
So few of the companies, if your skill matches and they are in need, they will for sure approach you and they will ask you for work part-time for their company, and
Yeah.
that experience will count as in further to get a permanent job there.
Yeah. Because I know few people, including Palas, who have got jobs in second semester as well. But the chances are less, but there are chances, so.
Don't lose hopes. That's
Yeah.
what I would say.
Okay.
You will definitely get it if you have the talent, because companies need it. The only thing that I'm trying to say with this workshop is that there are companies here they need, you shouldn't get frustrated, and you should keep applying that. As Raj suggested that he had applied almost 350 jobs. Even Saili had also applied for more than 110 jobs up to March or April. So post that, that's just because she got job, he stopped applying, but now also she would be looking for something better, definitely. So yeah, everyone wants that, and everyone wants to be to explore things and then get good opportunities. So, guys, I hope that was great for you all, and you definitely enjoyed it. I'm not saying just enjoyed it; you got your answers. And what I will do now is I will just share their profile with you once again, and you can. I would just like you to give some feedback about this session, and should we keep doing these sessions or not? Because if this is helpful for you all, then I will definitely keep it further. And I hope you guys have got your answers, and thank you everyone. If you have nothing to ask, then
I would really like to appreciate Satya for taking such initiative. I mean, this is really good what you're doing, and thanks a lot everyone for attending it today and having me here.
Yep.
And all the best for your job application process.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Also, Satya is currently working as a data analyst, as a
Yeah.
research analyst in DCU itself.
As a
So you should know that as well if you have any questions related to data analytics.
Yeah, big cheers to Satya.
Yeah.
thank you guys, thank you everyone, thank you participants, and yeah, we hope we'll keep some more sessions on performance testing and other as well, because this was about automation testing, and you all are welcome for all the sessions. And thanks for joining today. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye. Take care.
You too.
Thank you.